What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. Welcome to my channel. It's Taco Tuesday, y'all. And to be quite honest, tacos don't really sound like a bad idea today. I don't know why I need to start there. I'm on my caffeinated this morning. So, this is caffeinated number two. And I probably won't make it halfway through this cup, but I thought I needed one more little boost before I came over here to talk to y'all. Do y'all start the day trying to figure out like what you're going to cook for dinner? My kids are grown, and um, I have decided that I don't want to cook no more. So if I don't feel like cooking, I guess I just won't. And so it's been interesting these last few days, maybe last few weeks, because it's hard to fall out of that um, routine. You know what I'm saying? When that's your responsibility. But I'm out here solo dolo. What's up, Ja Tony? Good morning. You're the first one in the classroom to say what's up. I appreciate that. I like for y'all to come in and say hey to me. Hit the like button. Let me know you enjoying yourself over here. We just getting into things. I was just talking about how I'm retiring. I'm retiring from head of the household. I'm I'm about to be one of these, retirees over on an island somewhere under a tree drinking coconut uh, pina coladas underneath a palm tree. I won't stay there. I got to move around. Good morning. Hi, Vibe. Good morning, Lotus Egyptian Flower. That's what I'm talking about. I need to know y'all are here talking with me. Taco Tuesdays. I don't know. I'm feeling like it might be Taco Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? I don't generally feel guilty when there's nothing like to eat. You know what I mean? Give me stuff to eat, but without I don't making a plan. Like these grown children of mine are used to me, making the decision. So I've stopped making the decision. And the only time I make the decision is if I feel like my grandbaby is gonna be lost in the sauce eating, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with some yogurt, some ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, these kids gotta learn and I gotta make sure that the grandbabies are getting a healthy start. So that's the only thing that compels me to want to cook. So yeah, I bought the ingredients for spaghetti the other day, and I told my youngest, I decided you're cooking today, and her response was, oh. And I'm like, what you mean? I mean, what was your plans? You know what I'm saying? Why is this my job? I'm quitting my job. I'm going solo dolo. If I want to sit up here, you know what I'm saying, and eat me a personal pan pizza, then that's what the heck I'm gonna do. So, yeah, I got a lot on my schedule today. And but I had to come over here and talk to y'all because it's one of the best parts of my day when we get to chat about the things that are going on out here in the blogs and other places. But we're gonna start. Did I say like the video? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, tell a friend, bring some more people over here. We can make this a bigger conversation. But yeah. This is, like I said, one of the best parts of my day when I get to come over here and chat with y'all. So we're going to get into the things that we get into over here on Coffee Talk, things that are Black excellence, Black history, a little bit of current events, and a little bit of celebrity gossip. But the things I feel like that we really get excited to talk about are, the excellence of it all, and the current events that out here in these streets. That's a pretty stressful part of our conversation. Good morning to go to Africa. I also love. Can I just brag a little bit because the chat is so smart, and that's I feel like that's the reason why I enjoy coming over here is because I come up and find these things, scrolling through the timeline and such. And then y'all educate me so much more on, something that I had no idea was going to happen. What's the secret SS? What did John Tony got going on over here? What did I miss? Oh. Hi Vibe, you're our secret SS. Do tell. He can't tell if it's a secret. High Vibe. Anyway, let's get into the things. I'm over here just rambling about Taco Tuesday and things. Yeah. Are y'all quitting? I'm quitting. Every man for themselves. I'm finna go outside. Y'all want to go outside? I'm finna go outside and have me a hot girl summer. I think that's what's about to happen. I feel like, yeah, I'm about to go over here and have a hot girl summer. And if you want to come along on my hot girl summer, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram and on TikTok because that's where the shenanigans really be taking place. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into a little black excellence. A little black excellence is always a very good place to start. It gets us on a high and, gets our minds ready, to deal with the other things that we're going to talk about later on. Kamara has officially won Google Doodle Art Contest, earning a $55,000 scholarship. She also donated the $50,000 technology package to Rainier Branch High School, which serves a larger proportion of Black underserved students. See, this is, I think, it is an example of when the parents are involved of the raising of the children. Now, she's a good artist. Like when you look at the artwork, it definitely tells a story. You know what I mean? I look at her artwork and I see these girls like laying. Have you ever done that? Have you ever laid like out on the sidewalk and just look up at the stars? I live in Florida, so the sky is so amazing. Sometimes it's clear in the summer nights and you can see all the stars. And it's definitely been a thing. I remember it was one of those solar occasions that happened somewhere around, the 2020 and the 2019. And my kids and it was February because I remember it was cooler weather, but in Florida, February can be either or. But we were outside, like laying on the sidewalk, like staring up at the sky. And it just, I don't know, that feeling for me is so empowering. It gives you the idea that you can do anything. It's like feeds your imagination beyond what we see every day. We need to go outside as much as possible before things get crazy. Girl. Well, I'm going. We already at June. You going outside, high vibe. I'm going outside. And I'm gonna be yeah, mischievous. as our stormtroopers, Jatoni, we don't want to stormtroop. We want to like supervise the stormtroopers. We out here trying to have a hot girl summer, child, and we gonna be a revolutionary over here, and send the young ones out there to be a stormtrooper. The bad energy in the garden jinxed the team. Oh, uh-oh. I'm missing something. What's up, Elsie? Everybody's here. Elsie says like, share, and subscribe. I'm nosy. I want to know what happened. Grand morning. I want to know what happened when a lotus Egyptian flower and to go to Africa start talking about bad energy. Not bad energy, good energy. We're gonna focus on this little girl over here in the moment and all her hopes and dreams just now beginning. I do see this sometimes, this Google art contest, but I think that's really dope. It's definitely, like I said, a positive, inspiring photo. It'll be great to see what happens next with this little girl. But anyway, let's finish. Kamara won the 2026 Google Doodle Art Contest with her artwork, beating thousands of entries from across the United States. Her victory earned her a $55,000 college scholarship, but she wasn't twerking down to the graduation stage. She was over here receiving scholarships and things. And a $50,000 technology package for her school. I know her school is feeling some type of way, child. Wonder if she goes to a PWI school. Rather than keeping the technology package at her own school, Lakeside School in Seattle, Kamara asked for it to be donated to Rainier Beach High School, which serves a larger proportion of Black and underserved students. The request was approved, allowing the technology prize to benefit students who may have greater need for the resources. Shout out to her. I wonder, clearly she's imaginative. You know what I'm saying? Just based on her artwork. I wonder how much um I wonder how much influence her parents had in her decision. Um I think this is a beautiful thing. So not only did she win the scholarship for herself, she shared the prize, the technology prize, with a underserved school with underserved students. So shout out to her. Hopefully, we can have more kids think like this, and this is how we build the community. This is how we build the community at such a young age. She's already at it. Very generous. I agree. Um, On to other things in these technology spaces. Um, it says after her son Jordan Bryan was repeatedly stopped by police following the purchase of a new car, Paulina Bryan created a live lawyer app in 2014. The app allows users to instantly connect with a lawyer via video chat during police stops, providing real-time legal assistance and ensuring individuals know their rights in critical moments. I love this. We need to find this app for all of us, especially our children. So when you're sending your kids out, you know what I'm saying, with all the safety features on the car and everything, you might want to have them download this app as a precautionary measure. It says after her son Jordan Bryan was repeatedly stopped by police following the purchase of a new car, Paulina created the Live Lawyer app in 2014. The app allows users to instantly connect with a lawyer via video chat during stops, providing real-time legal assistance and ensuring individuals know their rights in critical moments. Why they put the whole article on the title? Then I end up reading the thing twice. Anyway, it was worth repeating. Get out of here. It was worth repeating. Again, I feel like this is definitely a good app to have on your phone, like especially for young people or anyone. Honestly, you don't always know your rights, and you get bamboozled into things. And also, you have an attorney via video chat, so he's there or she is there to witness what's going on, which would probably make for better behavior, hopefully, by any officer that think they gonna be pulling a fast one. So yeah, some more Black excellence. This has been available to us since 2014. Did y'all know about it? I didn't. I did not, but the app is called Live Lawyer. So if you go to your app store, you should be able to check it out and see. I don't know if there's a cost for the app, probably, but it definitely seems like it's worth having. You pay for Spotify and all of that other stuff that you pay for. I got to get a dash cam. I really want a dash cam. I really want a dash cam. I've seen so many dash cam videos that not even necessarily for the person driving the car. I watched a video the other day. This person was driving all over the road drunk. The only thing I would say about the video is that the person driving, the daughter was in the car recording everything, but it took them way too long to call 911. But sometimes, that dash cam. Have y'all seen the dash cam video of the people who pulled in front of this lady's car, and when she stopped, they backed into her, and then they got out the car acting like they had whiplash until they realized that she had dash cam on them. So yeah, I think that's a good investment. You could get that on TikTok. You could get a dash cam anywhere. We don't have no excuses for not protecting ourselves with a dash cam. So yeah, moving on. AI is over here messing up again. Every time I see an AI story, it's some bullshit. So, North Carolina man lost his kids, house, job, and spent 3 months in jail in a wild case of mistaken identity. The Florida police, leave it to Florida. We're going to stay doing something stupid, aren't we? Florida police AI system says he was an 85% match, but he's never been to Florida. So how is that? Y'all really, we just gonna rely on AI to we know that ain't gonna work in our behalf. So you're right. Let me get out here and get my hot girl summer together before I have to stay in the house running away from Archie the robot and the AI police. A father of 10 says, damn, he got 10? Woo wee. A father of 10 says a Florida facial recognition mistake turned his life upside down after he was accused of a Jacksonville car theft he says he did not commit. Jaleel Richardson told Action News is it Jacksonville? No, it's not Jacksonville because he ain't been to Florida. Anyway, that he spent nearly, or maybe it's News JAX, child, that he spent nearly 3 months behind bars after Jacksonville investigators used automated facial recognition technology to compare surveillance footage from a Publix parking lot theft case to his photo. His wife, Jasmine Jackson, well, thank God Jasmine is there, child, because 10 kids, they need both of them people in the house. And these police need to make sure that they give him enough money. Go ahead and get that 1.5 million or whatever the people be giving you for being wrongfully arrested. Anyway, the case started in April 2025 when a victim told Jacksonville police he unknowingly brought a stolen car from a man he met at a Publix on Bay Meadows Road. What? Police later showed the victim a photo lineup, and the victim identified Richardson as the suspect. But according to the report, Richardson's time card later showed he was at work in North Carolina when the alleged crime happened, nearly 400 miles away from Jacksonville. So he proved he was at work, and he still ended up in jail for 3 months. Richardson said he first learned about the warrant after calling police to his Charlotte home for an unrelated disturbance. He said he was jailed for 33 days in Mecklenburg County before being extradited to Florida, where he spent about 50 more days in Jacksonville. This is crazy. Prosecutors later dropped the charges, including dealing in stolen property, grand theft, unlawful possession of a motor vehicle with the VIN removed, possession of fraudulent title, and fraudulent use of fictitious person's identification information. For Richardson's family, this dismissal did not undo the damage. Jackson said the family became homeless. Damn. Richard lost his job. Their children were scattered between different homes, and they lost their car after his income disappeared. We lost everything, he told Action News JAX. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office defended its handling of the case, saying facial recognition was used as one investigative tool, not the only basis for the arrest. Well, what was the other basis? Because the man was at work in another state. Really? This don't make it better. Y'all should have just blamed it on AI. JSO said the victim and the victim's brother both identified Richardson in a photo lineup, and the judges found probable cause before prosecutors later entered a null prosecute, meaning the case was dropped. This is terrible. This is terrible. I mean, to think you at work somewhere and there's a crime being committed in another state, and they just come pick you up and take you, to jail. And they have 10 children. 10 children were, what did they say? Unhoused. They got to find somewhere for all of these kids to stay. And that was in New York. It says South Carolina, unless y'all are talking about something else. Sounds like Nesto scheme. You mean Shirley Strawberry's man, Nesto? That he got another trial coming up. He created 10 good players. Hopefully. The chat is cutting up again. I love it here. I see ya, Tony. I don't even know what's going on. I'm out of the loop. I'm gonna just stay over here minding my business, and y'all enjoy yourselves because it's Taco Tuesday, and if you don't cut up at some point today, you might not enjoy your day as much as you are right now. I'm going to just keep it moving and y'all can keep cutting up. So, yeah, this man was over here living his life and got snatched up Florida always got to be attached to everything wrong and bad, for goodness sakes. Yeah, give this man his money. Hopefully somebody sets up a GoFundMe account and he was able to get back on his track. I don't know. At least that's an option. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the account should have been set up when he got locked up. But 50 days, it's not a long time, but it is a long time. And shame on his job for not giving him his job back based on, what took place. You know what I'm saying? I realize they have to do what they have to do as a company wherever he worked. But I also feel like there, should be some procedures put in place, you know what I'm saying, to make sure that this man gets back onto where he was working. He about to live in luxury. I hope so. I hope he get that check. He need to sue both police departments. He need to sue South Carolina and Florida and Jacksonville. Ugh. Ain't the state paying him? I mean, probably, but lawsuits take a long time. So when you don't have no money, it's even harder. So hopefully this man gets, the money that he deserves. And y'all, don't be in Publix buying cars in the dark with no VIN number on them. Goodness gracious. How stupid.
But I feel like the world is
So I saw this story and I have a couple of questions. So I don't know these people, but apparently, influencer couple that terminated their pregnancy due to the baby's Down syndrome diagnosis said they've seen the darkest side of humanity after receiving backlash and death threats for the decision. The decision should have been kept private. I don't care if you're an influencer or not. Based on the way, this world operates and this United States operates, that's like one of the biggest, hot button topics. You know what I mean? People struggle with this one all the time. So I don't know why they felt like they should share it. Y'all getting this influencer situation, messed up. And now y'all gonna probably lose half the people. You know what I'm saying? If not more, because of your decision, which, it's your right. We'll get into it. Neighbors, get into it. That's what I said. YouTuber Jesse Ridgway and his wife Ashley say they've now seen the darkest side of humanity after publicly sharing their decision to terminate a pregnancy due to the fetus being diagnosed with Down syndrome. We previously shared the story where Jesse explained that they chose to end the pregnancy. He said he had been hopeful after the diagnosis, believing that if their child, why did I write it that way? It says they're the child, a little slow intellectually, then we'll make it work. I signed on to be a parent come what may, but I just didn't fully understand what Down syndrome entailed. He even posted a message directly to his fans with autism and Down syndrome. You matter a lot, and we're glad you're here. But he also stated that Down syndrome isn't a blessing; it's an objectivity. Shitty. I don't know what that's supposed to be from a health perspective. I didn't realize just how rough it is for the child, let alone the family. More often than not, they would be fully dependent on others the rest of their lives. That all didn't go over well. Obviously, Jesse says they've now endured a lot of judgment as he sleeps with a pow-pow next to him. I mean, let's hear what Jesse got to say.
Most lacking in that vulnerability with the death threats and everything. It has been shocking. Close people to us, very judgmental, religious based, saying we're going to burn in hell. We deserve to die.
I don't deserve to be a mother because of, the decision that we just made.
Yeah, we had a gate installed. I have a gun next to my nightstand because it's been getting so ridiculous. And they've been coming to emails, DMs, you name it. It's been, we've seen the darkest side of humanity through this process. But I feel like the world is almost lacking in that vulnerability with the death threats and everything. It has been shocking.
So this is them posting. This is what I don't understand. Like, you want to make this, internet sphere a part of your story. You sitting here posting the picture and getting people involved in your story. I don't know what they do. They're influencers. I've seen none of their influence anywhere, in my timeline until they ended up over here on the Neighborhood Talk. So it's a controversial situation to find yourself in. Why do they feel the need to share this information? Because they're influencers, and these people caught up in this influencer lifestyle, didn't have the good sense to know that they could have quietly did whatever it is they wanted to do, and then, share the information, I would say, in a different way. Nobody wants to be, first of all, put in that position. When I was pregnant with my youngest, I was 38 years old. So, they call that geriatric pregnancy. I was in very good health, but my, numbers required me to go take a test to see if the baby had Down syndrome. And I waited for 3 weeks. And for 3 weeks, I had to debate to myself, like, what am I actually going to do? And I'm not going to lie, that definitely came across my mind. Yeah, they're influencers, but I feel like still that's some stuff, like, if you gonna open up your business, then you better be ready for the consequences. And this, like I said, is a controversial subject. I thankfully didn't have to, labor over that decision. When I went to go get all my testing, the testing turned out my daughter, did not have Down syndrome or any other kind of disability. But like I said, I had an 18-year-old son, a 7-year-old daughter, and I didn't know, like, I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't have to make that decision, but it definitely crossed my mind. Now, I know people will judge you one way or the other, and especially when it comes to abortion. I want to know, where did they go? I thought we wasn't allowed to do that anymore. Now you can just do it based on whatever. I can have somebody word me and still have to carry the baby. But if I decide I'm not equipped to handle a special needs child, I could just go terminate. What is the actual rules out here? And they're influencers, so the people know them. You said, I think this fits the exception of saving the child from a life plan. I'm otherwise against abortion. Now, never used to be, though. I mean, listen, until you have a baby in your womb, you don't know what type of decisions you're going to make. We don't know. You can have a million parents that, have raised children with Down syndrome and will tell you how much of a blessing that child was in their life. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what the situation is going to be. And they had every right to make the decision that they made, but they made it public because they're influencers, and now they're dealing with the backlash. And I don't know what town in middle America these people come from, because that's what it looked like, just based on their clothes and their hairstyles. That was truly a blessing. It was a blessing. And let me tell you how I labored over, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? 3 weeks. I had to wait 3 weeks for this, appointment. And by the time I got to the appointment, I was already bawling before anything, any tests were taken or anything. And so, like I said, thank goodness my daughter is healthy, but I definitely had to think about, what are the next steps? So, yeah. But when you get caught up in this influencer lifestyle and you start sharing everything, it's just a reminder to let people know they love you one day and then the next day they don't. And I don't know how they thought in their mind. I don't know how they figured that their fan base was going to respond to this, especially when you're sitting up here, you're sharing the pregnancy and da-da-da-da-da. Some things, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be careful how you decide to share things with the internet. And, I don't have no opinion about it one way or the other. I think these people were well within their rights to make the decision that they needed to make for their life. But, if you're going to be out here sharing the information with with the world, then you got to, prepare for the consequences. These kids is out here, you talking about raising a Down syndrome child, seems like raising a perfectly healthy child. Is it a problem in the United States right now too? They said the kids don't know how to read, they don't know how to do math, they don't know how to do nothing. College professors say incoming students no longer understand middle school math and science. So they get into college and don't understand middle school math and science. Why is that? Because the teachers are just pushing them past, training them to take a what do you call those? The FCAT and all of those regulated tests. We worried about test scores so kids can, get money for the schools rather than whether they're really learning anything. The time they get to university, they still on a middle school level. Next thing you know, they're president, child. University of California facilities are sounding the alarm, warning that rampant AI cheating has left incoming students struggling with basic middle school mathematics. And you know what? I just saw an article or a story, this lady was talking this morning that AI, that Google isn't even a search engine anymore. Now it's the AI information source. So the kids are going over there and getting information based on what AI told them and not necessarily what's actually the truth. The kids, AI is making them stupid. And us too, because I feel like those of us that knew how to function without all this technology, we don't spell no more. We just rely on spell check, the phones, and do spelling things for you. My phone be making decisions I didn't ask them to make. I have to erase what you said because that's not what I was going to say. In a letter to leadership, faculty revealed that nearly a third of students in U.S. Berkeley's introductory calculus course poses severe preparation deficits, forcing instructors to reach middle school student level mathematics. So now the teachers got to go all the way back to the 8th grade to get these kids. And then the university is going to put pressure on them to get these numbers out before these kids graduate. So, good grief. This crisis has been severely exacerbated by widespread adoption of AI chatbots, which educators argue have fueled rampant academic dishonesty and inflated high school grades while actively impairing students' critical thinking and cognitive development. While elite institutions like MIT, Harvard, and Yale have recently reversed their test optional policies to address these gaps, the University of California systems has resisted reinstating SAT and ACT exams due to long-standing concerns over racial and sociophobic inequities. That's easy enough to change. Come on. If anything they should be good at is a daggone SAT test. That's all they do in school. They don't learn. They learn how to take the test. Opponents of testing argue that standardized exams disproportionately favor wealthy families who can afford expensive prep courses. Or you can just teach the same curriculum to all the kids so they're all learning regardless of where they're at. I mean, it's not like the kids that are in lower income areas, like it's not like they can't learn. It's the environment that they're being raised in. As educators warn that university resources are too stretched out to handle remedial teaching, and debate intensifies over whether standardized testing is a necessary gatekeeper or flawed barrier in increasingly AI reliant academic landscapes. I think it's definitely not helping. I feel like, let's say, this source is Lady Moore F, 2026 college professor. I hate standardized testing. When my kids were in school, I felt like standardized testing, the learning stopped right after the Christmas break. They would go to school, they would have, a little bit of education, whatever the teachers were allowed to teach at this point in our education system. And then when they get back in January, they're ready to start state testing. So there isn't any real education. They're just learning, how to take this damn test. And the kids be all stressed out because the teachers are putting the pressure on them, to get good grades on this standardized test. COVID and 47 had a tremendous impact on the quality of education in this country. Yes, because all their buddies who create these standardized tests, you know what I'm saying? And obviously, the kids that have access to more technology and, education, better teachers and all of that. You got teachers in these urban schools that don't live there, don't want to be there, don't think these kids are worth the time, but they're collecting a check. And I don't mean all of them. I mean, if you're giving the jobs to people that are not people of color, and then you got Mary over here in the urban school who thinks all these kids is just niggerism. Anyway, it's unfortunate. And it's a situation where as parents, the public school system is not to be relied on, period. If you can find an alternative to the public school system, then you are in a better state than, most people are. And if your kids are enrolled in the public school system, then you better best be getting yourself involved. And for me, like I said, that was the benefit of virtual school because I was able to get involved. I didn't have to hear her say, I don't have no homework or any of those things. You can't, put those lies, basically. Report card, I have access to all of that. So there won't be any, when is your report card coming? And get rid of that core math in schools. I feel like that core math, I know when my youngest was in school, and I was like, y'all don't memorize your multiplication. Y'all rely on this chart. You're never going to know how to do anything if you don't know math, like memorize it to some extent. I got to go to the chart, put my finger and see what is 9 times 9. We had to memorize all of that stuff. Spelling bees. I don't think they do that anymore. Not in the public school system. You said they're responsible for huge cuts in funding and essentially gutting the Department of Education. Well, there's definitely an attack on education from the college level on down. I think the administration would like for us to stay stupid. They want AI to do the thinking for us. And then you got all these kids walking around like it's a joke and they can't read and they can't do simple math. If we go back to the way we learned it, which was not perfect, but it wasn't designed to make you stupid. If you get on Facebook or any type of social media during school time, when school starts, there's a litany of parents out here like, what the heck with this math? I can't help him. I don't even know what they're talking about. How do we get to this number? So it has to be an issue because all the parents are confused. You heard those tests are white bias. Some universities don't require them now. I don't know, Jatoni. I feel like that could have been an excuse a long time ago, but kids have access to internet. And so there's a world of information out there. My kids are always saying stuff and I'm like, how do you know that? Like, did you look that up or did you read that somewhere? But they just read. And, they, like I said, and they have access. So when they go to somewhere and read something somewhere or hear something somewhere, they have access to the information. Don't go to Google though, because Google ain't telling the truth anymore. It's easier to manipulate people who don't know nothing. They're more likely to believe anything. Right. And they don't want to do the research to find out if it's even true. I seen a story this morning that had, and as if there's not enough drama going on, surrounding this Carmelo Anthony case. I saw an article where they had these 4 pictures and 4 people in a picture, and they named them as the judge, the DA, all, and the father of, one of those twins, the boy that got killed, all in a picture together. And the narrative was that these are all friends. And how is Carmelo Anthony going to get a fair trial if these guys are friends, the DA, the judge, and the father of the boy? And then there was somebody commenting on it. Like, he didn't do any research. He just was like, see what I'm talking about, good old boys. And I agree, all of these things exist. But there's information being put out that's just not true. And instead of going to see, so the follow-up picture was the actual judge and the actual DA. And they're like, they're not in this picture. It's not even that. So they're trying to create controversy over, and a race war. And I don't think that came from us. I don't think that article came from us. I think it was rage bait. And we have to be responsible, and instead of just believing what we see. Now we can't believe what we see because AI and Google over here, interfering with the actual truth. Yeah. And a generation of people who haven't ever had to do anything. Like, we didn't have any of this stuff. The iPad, the computer even. We didn't have any of this stuff growing up. We had to go to the library, look in the little box, see where the aisle and shelf the book is on, go over to the shelf and aisle, and hopefully you can find the book. Ultimately, you're probably going to end up asking the librarian because, she has to see if it was checked in, checked out. I felt like going to the library as a child was so frustrating because the system works only if, people don't shuffle books around. Then you got kids in the library that think it's funny to let's go put this book over here and put this book over there. So when we got access to computers and these things, it's fine because we knew how it used to be before. Then you have these kids now that are born with a phone. So they 6 months old, they know how to scroll. My baby knows how to scroll. He's not even 2 years old yet. Now, does he get to play with the phone? He does not. We don't let him play with the phone. That's not a thing around here because it just, starts behavior that is not going to benefit him in the long run. But does he know how to scroll? He knows that scrolling that phone and pushing some buttons and some things are going to happen. They're born with it. It's a part of who they are. So for them to think of having to actually get out of the house and go look for something and I had, like I said, pushback on make some damn spaghetti. So it's unfortunate. And then also when you have parents, who are not involved, you have another whole level of problems within poorer communities. I feel like the library is currently seriously underused these days. It is because people don't read books anymore. We had to go to the library and check out a book every week. That was a part of, there was a library in the school where you go check out a book. So we didn't even always have to go to the library. It was in the school. But then they decided to throw out the books out of the school because the kids was learning about shit that they didn't want them to know about. Anyway, pray for these children, help the parents, grandparents help the parents. It's going to take a village, y'all. So this came up and I stopped here because there was so much conversation about Kevin Hart and his roast and inappropriate jokes and blah, blah, blah. And I remember this happening. There was Whoopi Ware married to this man. I feel like she was married to him. And Ted Danson was quite the catch back in the day because he was, from Cheers. So he had his own level of celebrity. And, the people were like, what? How did Whoopi snag Ted Danson? Anyway, The Good Place, I guess that's a movie I haven't seen. The Good Place actor Ted Danson said he's willing to apologize for the rest of my life for the 90s blackface roast of Whoopi Goldberg. So arrogant, so stupid. I don't know. She was sitting right there next to him. So I would love to hear. And I can't remember. I should go back and see what her take was on that. I feel like she defended him because it's a roast and it's supposed to be private. And these pictures aren't supposed to be, exposed. But she stood next to this man while he was dressed in blackface. I think he was dressed as her or something. But anyway, Ted Danson definitely regrets his infamous behavior during Whoopi Goldberg's roast. In a candid sit down with W. Kamau Bell's podcast, Who's With Me, the Cheers and Good Place star revisited his 1993 appearance at a New York Friars Club roast of then girlfriend, was this girlfriend, Whoopi Goldberg, where he performed in blackface and delivered jokes laced with racial slurs and explicit references to their relationship. Ted admitted that he and Whoopi had tried to skip the event, but the club had already sold too many tickets to back out. So my brain was going, okay, here's is one of the most outrageous, funny black women in the world, and I'm supposed to be roasting her, and I'm not a stand-up. I can't run with the bulls, he explained, adding that the blackface felt like it would give him a kind of creative license. Yeah, you gonna be blackface, and she walked in the room with him, so there you go, Whoopi. Anyway, he said the blackface give him a kind of creative license, a decision he deeply regrets. Ted didn't hold back when reflecting on his mindset into that night, calling it so arrogant and so stupid. To think a white man had anything meaningful to contribute to a conversation about race. He said he knew almost instantly that he'd made a grave error. For years, he leaned on the defense that his intentions weren't malicious, but he told Bell that line of thinking no longer holds up for him. Your intentions do not matter. The impact you have on people is what matters, he said. I thought I could run with the big boys, and I couldn't. And it was stupid, and it was not my place, and it was wrong, and it was hurtful. As for where he stands today, Ted made his commitment clear. I need to, and I want to apologize for the rest of my life. Whoopi has always been sus. Like I said, Whoopi, she could have been like, bruh, no, we're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? She could have wrote the damn joke. And, you're here, but you're late. That's okay, Motown investor. Not how I be late. I can't complain. Yeah. So now he wants to say sorry, I guess. The damage is done. It was a long time ago, but I feel like I remember side-eyeing Whoopi more than him because my expectations from white people are not that high. She came out laughing. Yeah, she thought the shit was funny instead of telling him not to do it. And it was almost like a setup, if you ask me. Like if I had a white partner on another planet in another life, because that's never going to happen. But I feel like I would have set him up to walk in the room to destroy, his career, because he was definitely in the height of his career at the time. And, like I said, Whoopi is not traditionally, Hollywood beautiful. So their relationship was already like, the white girls was out there like, what the fuck? So, yeah, he said he's sorry. And all these years later, we still at it. We still doing the same thing that we was doing back then. Nobody was in blackface, but they was laughing at hanging. I think she's rather open about things. We basically know what and who she is. You talking about Whoopi? Yeah, I don't know. I used to love Whoopi so much, but then when she came a host on The View, I kind of start changing my mind. Looking back, it could have been a humiliation ritual for her Hollywood career. Like I said, it definitely affected him more than it affected her, because he over here still to this day. So I'm sorry for the rest of my life. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Man, we ain't thought about it. But that's how karma works, brother. You be out here, dealing with the consequences of your actions. So do y'all forgive Ted Danson? I do not care. You met Whoopi in your 20s, always had a white boyfriend. I feel like this is a lot of times an uncomfortable conversation. I feel like because the world made Whoopi feel the way she did about herself, that's how that was going to go. The first stand-up I ever seen of Whoopi was her doing the joke about her with the t-shirt on her luxurious long blonde hair. That's where I met Whoopi as a comedian. And she went on about how, this was her luxurious long blonde hair. Nobody, like I said, she's not traditionally Hollywood beautiful. Now, if you seen Whoopi like in the street, like today, just as a regular woman, you would be able to appreciate, her beauty. But as a Hollywood person, that ain't what it was. We have to be honest about that. And I feel like the way the world treated her, and then you want to enter yourself in an environment like that, that's going to constantly tell you you're not good enough, you're too black, you're too this, you're too that, your hair too kinky, all those things, then I don't think you can avoid being affected by it. And so the next thing they do is run to, having a white partner. Elsie said, Whoopi allowed suspects to talk around her when she was a trio with Robin Williams and Billy Crystal. Yeah. Yep. You know what it's giving, Elsie? It's giving Sammy Davis Jr., like when he was Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis, and, often the butt of the joke because he was the little black man. And he did the same thing. He gravitated towards, whiteness. You didn't know he was still alive? Whoa. He's still here, child, and he's sorry. So, as long as he's still here, he's actually sorry. Sammy Davis Jr., yeah. I never really cared for him as a kid. It's so funny how kids can peep things like that. When I was a kid, I watched Flip Wilson. I didn't have no problem with him being Geraldine. It was a funny joke. I didn't know anything about gay or any of that. I just know, Geraldine was a sassy character. You know what I mean? I was smart enough to know it was a character. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what his orientation was. I don't know. I don't care. I just know that I didn't have a problem with him. Sammy Davis Jr., I didn't get it. He felt very disconnected. Like, I grew up on the Bill Cosby and, Bill Cosby, that we didn't know he was out there doing what he was doing. But, Sidney Poitier, Uptown Saturday Night, and Let's Do It Again, those types of movies. Richard Pryor albums were in my house. Mom's Mabley albums were in my house. So I didn't resonate with Sammy Davis Jr. I didn't know where he was coming from. And Whoopi, I thought was hilarious. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't giving gorgeous because she's like frumpy. She didn't only time you seen Whoopi look pretty was it Sister Act when she came in regular clothes? But for the most part, she was like hiding behind, big baggy clothes. And so she wasn't serving up beauty, but she was definitely serving up comedy. You said he wasn't suspect. I think Sammy was easily confirmed. I'm talking about Flip Wilson. Because he put a dress on, which, I feel like I could still go back and watch episodes of Flip Wilson and laugh. We had the same albums, Cosby. We had sneak and listen to Richard Pryor records. Yeah. Well, I grew up in Michigan, so we had a basement. So, we would just go down the basement and listen to Richard Pryor records. And, when you're a comedian and you can be funny on an album and you can listen to the album over and over and over again and it still be funny. What's his name? Red Fox. Red Fox on the album wasn't the same Red Fox that was on Stanford and Son. I was like, oh my word. Sammy was also trying to survive. He didn't use his funds to pay civil rights movement. He did or he didn't? He did. I mean, when you look at that era, Quincy Jones, all of them, had a white woman on their arm. Sidney Poitier, Sister Act, when she was that club singer. Yeah, that's when you were like, woo, look at Whoopi. We didn't know that all of that was under the big shirt she be carrying on. Sammy is more known for his singing and dancing in the Rat Pack. Yeah, well, his comedy wasn't funny. And I didn't really care for his singing either. But, I'm not a Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra type of girl. They were great storytellers. I feel like I can listen to Moms Mabley right now. I would love to do that with my kids. You know what I'm saying? We don't have them albums no more. That's a shame. I wish we hadn't done that. I wish we had been more careful with the albums, not letting them get scratched up and stuff. I think you don't realize that, what a jewel you had at the time. When I say you, I mean me. I don't have any of that stuff anymore. When my sister passed away, my daughter took a crate of albums. So she got some Rick James and some Stephanie Mills, and Whoopi didn't have to put up with the same indignities, and that's been my issue with her. I think Whoopi's issue might have been more about self-hate. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it always goes back to the t-shirt and the girl with the long blonde hair. And, being Robin Williams and Billy Crystal, that was the top of the comedy food chain back in the day. To be a part of that trio, she was going to do what she needed to do, probably to be a member of the cool kids. Another interracial couple, they divorced now, but I did not know it was our fault. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know y'all was responsible for Taye Diggs leaving his wife? Taye Diggs divorced his wife, and after 11 years of marriage, then she blamed the Black community. How we in it? I mean, I feel like we saw Taye Diggs over there with her, and we was like, and that's that. We were caught up, when Stella got her groove back and everything, but we just, anyway, this is what the lady said. Here's why Taye Diggs' wife believes the Black community played a part in their divorce. Idina Menzel recently reflected on her 11-year marriage to Taye Diggs and suggested that outside pressure may have played a role in the challenges that they faced. Not us. Maybe the movies he was trying to get into, because he was, using the Black women as his audience to build his career. So that might have been a problem. But don't say we was the problem, because once we saw you, we wasn't checking for Taye Diggs no more. The box office might have been an issue. I'm just saying. According to Idina, Taye received criticism from some people because he was married to a white Jewish woman, and she believes that pressure affected him over time. And it used to be illegal, lady, to be married to a white woman, a biracial, couples. It used to be illegal. So don't say this conversation never happened. Y'all were just tiddly diddly biddly on down the road, skipping and holding hands, and it never once occurred to you that the fact that he's Black and you're white was going to, cause some controversy amongst the public. Don't blame us. We don't want to hear it. What's interesting is that Taye has spoken publicly about this topic before. During an appearance on Van Lathan's podcast, the actor discussed the reaction he received to his interracial marriage and admitted that the experience impacted how he viewed dating. How? Both of y'all are full of shit. I'm getting irritated now. Taye claimed that some people constantly questioned his attraction to Black women, and even years later still approached him with comments about only liking white women. What women are you talking about? I mean, who were you talking to? Anyway, I mean, have y'all ever approached anybody like that? I ain't on a date with white women. I don't know. Do you only date white women or no? Because if you don't, like if we seen you like out with other people, he used to date, what's the name? Omarion's ex, April. He dated her for a while. They were together for some years. She also blaming him. He's part of the Black community. It's his fault now? I mean, it is his fault. If that's how he felt, then, I feel like it affected them pockets more than, he gives a shit about dating a Black woman. You said, so she blaming him. Okay. He never did anything to impress me enough to care anything about what he did or who he's dating. A fax to go to Africa. I mean, he was in that movie, Get Your Groove Back, and I was like, 21, Stella, that's very young, Stella. If you come to my house, to my 21-year-old son, I'm going to feel away. Now, he came out with that bald head and a big smile, and it was, in the 90s where, he was doing all the black films. Nia Long, Lorenz Tate, he was in that group of people. And so when he came over here with this white lady, we were like, oh, and we kept it moving. So don't blame us for your situation, lady. I don't even care for him now. He ain't even aging like fine wine. He just, like a milk dud. Now social media is debating interracial relationships, public pressure, and whether outside opinions can put strain on a marriage, among other things. Because while some people believe celebrities should ignore public criticism, others think constant scrutiny can eventually take a toll on any relationship. I think any two grown people that are of different racial backgrounds, whether it be black, white, Chinese, or Asians, I'll say the Asians, after watching Love is Blind, got the worst self-esteem I feel like of anybody. So maybe that's why they over here mad right now. But any people that are going into relationships with somebody outside their race should expect people to have questions. The black-white thing is always going to be the biggest one, probably because, I don't know, slavery. I saw him once on the subway. He's a very tiny man. He looked like it. Not my type at all. Now, if Lorenz Tate married a white woman, black women would have something to say. And his wife is a beautiful woman, not in the spotlight. You know what I'm saying? She's not an actor, so we don't even hardly see her. Lorenz Tate's wife. They've been together for friggin' ever. You know who else is very tiny now that you mentioned that? High Vibe? Tretch. Tretch is not so fine now, but back in the day when he was, what was it? You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. That Tretch right there was very fine, but he's also very small. It's interesting that this is still a concern in 2026. I don't know that it's a concern. Well, you know what, Pat? I was going to say, I don't know if it's a concern as much as it used to be, but since this country is running like with the speed of light backwards into this, old school, Jim Crow United States, it's probably an issue. But I feel like it's always been a thing. Like when people marry outside, even if she wasn't white, if she was, Mexican, people would be like, you know what I'm saying? So they would just say, he got a type. He wants somebody that looks a certain type of way. I feel like when you make that choice to get in an interracial relationship, you have to at least have that conversation. You cannot think that that's not going to ever come up because people are ignorant. Got to be an idiot to choose. I'm not even going to say it, John Tony. Ooh, John Tony, everybody has their preferences. And I don't know that this is his preference, completely. I've not seen him with a long list of white women, but I have seen him with April, who's what would be considered a preference, but she's a pretty girl. So, I don't know, Adina. Next time marry a white man. I don't know what else to tell you, but we're not going to take the blame for that. Y'all be reaching to try to blame us for things. Y'all be reaching to try to blame us for things. I saw this and I was like, yep, this is a perfect example of how things get twisted. This lady over here trying to twist the narrative and make it our fault. These Asian people over here, they trying to twist the narrative.
So why they run around here saying that we said that we was going to loot and burn their stores? Baby, we said not another damn dime. So why the fuck would y'all think we would give you an insurance payout? No. We not finna sit up here and loot and burn down Asian stores so that they can go file an insurance claim and get a check. Why would we take money from you to be giving money to you? What we said was that we are redirecting our dollars to Black-owned businesses. And shout out to all the Black-owned businesses who have come out the woodworks, y'all. The beauty supply stores, the restaurants, the nail salons, the farmers. Okay, that's found a farmer, y'all, that'll ship meat to you. And they'll ship their products, y'all. We found all kinds of businesses, y'all, for real. For real. Mhm. So why they run around here saying that we said that we was gonna loot and burn their stores?
I seen this comment and I just had to. So this comment says, and it's a mystery person with no face. So trolling. It says, young lady, people love Chinese food. Name one black-owned Chinese restaurant, and folks in the hood will go to Chinese restaurants, same as always. No, not true. We don't have to do that. I got a Panda Express in my in my neighborhood, but I got a grocery store. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have to do that. And I can't believe that Chinese food will be the basis of the reasoning for us not being able to let go. You think we that attached to Chinese food that we can't let go and spend our money somewhere else? You say, I've spent a lot of time with Asians. Many of them have a lot of pride and self-esteem. I think the ones cast on the dating shows are misunderstood by us because of our cultural differences. Well, I'm talking about the assimilation to whiteness, the taking the slantiness out of the eyes. Is that inappropriate? The shape of changing the shape of the eyes to be more almondy. It's one thing to be prideful in your culture, but in this United States, like these Asian kids, trying to date white people. I've only dated white boys. I've only dated white women, not dating within their race. Their community has definitely been affected by trying to assimilate to whiteness. As if we don't have our own cuisines. Girl, I want to go ahead and look into the franchising of a patty place, Jolly Patty, or whatever them patties was, them Jamaican patties. I want one of those in the neighborhood. And if I go to Miami, I'm going to have to look for it. I'd be fine without Chinese food. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, don't dumb us down like that. It's like the cause is way bigger. And it's just an effort to not spend money with people. My community is mixed, so it probably won't happen over here. I can choose not to do it, but it's a bunch of Hispanic people, and they be calling them chinos. Like, I had to ask the girls when I was teaching, I was like, are you allowed to say that? Because that's how they refer to the Asian people. I think the Asian culture is definitely affected by this country and their assimilation to whiteness. I also think put your business somewhere else. That's it. That's all. Like, if you hate dealing with Black folks so much, then get from over here. You know what I mean? That's the end of the discussion, to be honest. If we have to be fearful of, being pow-powed for going to buy a water or Easy Off or anything in your store, and you're going to be sweating and carrying on. Like I said, I went into an Asian beauty supply store and walked the frick back out. I'm not going to let you treat me like I'm about to do something, and I'm grown as hell. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with saying hello? And now I'm supposed to spend my money over here? No, not gonna do it. White girls all over YouTube saying they choose Black men over white. Can't blame them because we find they just see the obvious. I do too. Okay, Jai Tony. Well, we glad we got you on, team us. I mean, white girls are also the ones that be out here claiming that somebody did something inappropriate. They're responsible for the lynching of and all of those things. So there's that. Anyway, let's stay on course. And if you have another option, spend your money within your community. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like Chrissy Teigen and John Legend, because they didn't get the memo. Apparently, they over here still. Chrissy Teigen, girl, she stay getting it wrong, don't she? Chrissy Teigen and John Legend's Target collaboration receives mixed reactions. Let me read the article first. Chrissy Teigen and John Legend are facing some pushback after sharing a family shopping trip to Target as part of their collaboration with the retailer. Are they for real? While the couple appeared to be celebrating the partnership with their children, the comment section quickly turned critical, with some making it clear they are no longer supporting the store. One person urged them to read the room, while others wrote, "Love you, but so sad you're partnering with," while others added, "That's awesome, but we don't shop there anymore." Others echoed the same sentiment, writing, "We don't shop there anymore, and sorry, I vote with my pocket too." You have to. I feel like that's probably the best way to vote, is with your pockets. What'd you say to go to Africa? I see more Asians dating Black people now, depending on where they live. The younger generation is very different. Many of the older ones, Chinese, it's still racist. I was just getting ready to say that. Koreans is the Black folks of the Asian community. Koreans definitely date. We had brothers in my neighborhood growing up in Flint. Uno, that Uno was something else, child. Yes. I think it depends on the community. Koreans tend to lean more towards the Black. Remember, we had the two girls on Soul Train. There was we had two of them Asian girls that was always down the Soul Train line. Everybody gonna have to brace for whatever is going on out here. I'm sorry about it. If you're not Chinese, but you're gonna have to take one for the team. That's what it looks like. So you got John Legend and them out here. These are the tweets. Chrissy Teigen and John Legend, read the room and the comments. We don't shop there anymore. Everybody's saying we don't shop there anymore. Ooh, Chrissy, we love you, but no. Haven't been there in over 2 years. No regrets. Me either. I haven't been to Target and I can't remember when. Oh gosh, haven't shopped there in a year and a half. I don't think people shop there anymore. Some do, and this is first of all, Target has absolutely been affected by the boycott. You said you see younger Black women with Asian guys. They're probably Korean, child. They probably ain't Chinese, or they probably Filipino. I'm not sure what they thought was going to happen. This is make sense. What he say? The music ain't great. I'll listen to it on an iPod. I'm not a John Legend fan. This comment here, there's a lot of people that still shop at Target. It's whatever. And if that sits fine in your spirit, I guess it sits fine in your spirit until, you're on the receiving end of some bullshit. Don't come over here. A bunch of y'all crying kids still shop at Target. There was one, I can't find it now. But anyway, she says something about y'all that aren't shopping at Target think y'all so woke or something of that nature. Y'all can do what you want to do. If you want to shop at Target, you can shop at Target. I will not be shopping at Target. Because I'm going to stand on business. I don't need it. So what am I going back over there for? And you could sit your sorry over there with Ted Danson and say sorry for the rest of your life. Target is just no longer a thing that I need to participate in. Shopping over there, spending my dollars over there. They talked about a lot of the people who products are sold in Target. I just get it from wherever else they're selling it at. If I'm going to buy something from Canvas Beauty, Target is not my only option. So I could still purchase the product. I could go to the website. I don't have to get it from there. So yeah, that's it. That's all. So there's been a lot of talking. I don't cover Puffy for a reason, because I don't want to sit up here and keep talking about it. But every day there's something different. But this young man is suing the male escort he's accusing Cassie and Diddy of essay. So yeah, this is what he had to say.
I'm Clayton Howard. I am the plaintiff suing Diddy and Cassie for on these freak-offs that happened all these years ago with the male escorts and all of this stupidness that you now see all over social media. So for the last couple of months, audience, I've been quiet. I'm a law student. I'm not a professional prostitute. I'm not a male escort. All of that is being constantly circulated by the media has something to do with something that occurred in my past over 10 years ago. However, people need things to watch too, especially people who don't like to read and who are ignorant. So you guys who are social media junkies tend to listen to what all of the lying idiots who are racist and biased put whatever before your face simply to try to create stories and narratives to push agendas that may be in the minds or in the overall goal of people who are utilizing these social media outlets. Hello, I'm Clayton Howard. I am the plaintiff. People, I believe Cassie and her legal team have created a dedicated campaign to try to discredit me, stalk me, harass me, whatever it might be. Cassie has filed a motion to dismiss. But audience, Cassie has not disputed any of my allegations. Her motion to dismiss attacks me on timeliness of the allegations, stating that, oh, because it happened X amount of years ago, now it's too late to charge her or seek action against it. Her motion to dismiss tries to use a text message sent by me to her husband, trying to respect her marriage and not blow her up for the cum dumpster she actually is. People, I believe Cassie and her legal team. Now, audience, you should know something that's really very valid, that the Wigdor law firm seemed to leave out of their arguing that I'm trying to go after Cassie's money. People, I was directed to the U.S. Attorney's Office by the Wigdor law firm. Wigdor sent me to the U.S. Attorney's Office because he knew that Clayton Howard was the guy and that I could verify everything Cassie said. What he was hoping on is that racism and bias and the use of domestic violence would make my voice and my allegations, I want to say, non-prosecutable. He was hoping that he would be able to work with the corruption of the U.S. Attorney's Office to protect Cassie, even though everyone knows at this point that Cassie is lying. So people, what happened is the U.S. Attorney's Office leaned on the attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, and this is why myself and Edmund Laurent action was not filed against Cassie, because the U.S. Attorney's Office leaned on Tyrone Blackburn not to sue Cassie until after the Diddy trial, which made the allegations of the true victim. Now, audience, you should know something that's true victims of the Diddy freak-offs and the sex trafficking conspiracy of Cassie, Daphne Joy, and Sean Combs, which made those victims, how do I say this correctly, which denied those victims justice. The real victims, the men who were manipulated by Jane Doe, by Cassandra Ventura, the dozens of men who this happened to for years. Many people might want to say that the men aren't victims because the men were paid. People, you have prostituting women every day who say that the men who have been flying them around the country, sex traffic and abuse them, they go to court and they destroy these men's lives. What's the difference with a man who's saying the same thing about a woman who actually testified during a criminal trial to do it? Audience, Cassie admitted to sex trafficking me. Cassie admitted to lying on me. Cassie admitted to creating an environment that was completely deceptive of the truth of the narrative that what was going on, at least to me. People, by all legal terminology, that's coercion. If she wasn't willing to tell me who she really true victims of the Diddy freak-offs and was and what was going on, people, she was lying to me. She hid her identity for multiple years for the sole purpose of lying to me and convincing me that herself and Sean Combs were husband and wife. So, audience, how can I be a liar if this woman admitted all of this on the stand during a federal criminal trial? The Wigdor law firm will do everything they can to try to use outside factors of my past to discredit my current situation. Audience, here's the truth. Cassie testified to sex trafficking me. She testified to every word of my complaint, people. She may not have directly admitted to the allegations of the sexual assault, but people, she even testified to an aspect of that when she lied and said Sean Combs forced her to have sex with someone on her period. Audience, she said that because she knew that was one of my allegations against her before the end of the trial. Cassie Ventura, Douglas Wigdor, and the Douglas Wigdor law firm have known about the allegations of myself and Edmund Laurent for well over 2 years. They've known since, I want to say, at least April of 2025, audience. was and what was going on. She slept with all of those escorts. She slept with all of those black men, those minority men, because the truth of the matter is Cassandra Ventura is a whore. She did this because she is sexually promiscuous, and which she actually testified to, she has ability controlling her sexual orgies. She's a nymphomaniac, from what I believe the transcript said. Audience, I'm not going to go back and forth with the Wigdal law firm trying to use outside media sources to attack my personal life, hoping that that's enough to convince a jury down the line that Cassie was telling the truth to facts she testified to during a federal trial. Audience, you may not like me, but here's the truth. I was victimized by Cassandra Ventura. She lied to me. She lied to dozens of other men for years while she traveled all around the world, not even the country, people, allowing herself to be a cum dumpster for a billionaire who she hoped would marry her at the end of her sacrifice of her soul and body, and it didn't happen. She slept with all of those escorts. She slept with all of those black men, those people. My ex-girlfriend is doing this because it's a nightmare for her ex-boyfriend to get any type of resources that would take him out of the sphere of her being able to harass him. People, you all understand what I'm talking about. Everybody knows that there has been a partner out there who has been so obsessed with their ex that they have done everything they can to sabotage everything that could happen positive or good in that person's life because they can't move on. People, this is what happened with my ex-girlfriend, and you don't have to believe me. There's a bunch of evidence that substantiates it. Anybody who chooses to support this lie, I'm going to tell you straight the hell up, people. I can prove what I'm saying, that she's lying. You're going to end up in civil court. That's what's going to happen. I don't want to sue you. I got a bunch of things going on with my life. But if you falsify a narrative, if you promote a false narrative that I can factually prove is incorrect, you are liable and you're going to be held accountable. People, my ex-girlfriend is doing this. But Cassie, Douglas Wigdor, let me tell you something. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And barking up that door of my lying ex-girlfriend is going to destroy the credibility of your whole case. And remember, I told you that. Remember that woman is a pathological, documented perjurer with multiple orders of protection against her. So you can do whatever you choose to do. You can keep going with the lying narrative to help this woman continue her 5-year campaign of revenge against the guy who broke up with her. Or you can try to focus on the issues before Cassie and try to prove that the allegations of my Fourth Amendment complaint are a lie. See, that's what you really need to do, Wigdor Law Firm and Cassie. You need to prove that the allegations that you sexually assaulted me and sex trafficked me for years while lying to my face are false. And you can't prove that, Cassie. So you continue to make a bunch of smoke. Bitch, I'm going to burn you out with fire, Cassie. You're a lying cum dumpster, and your lawyer is a scumbag racist. He wants to play stupid games. You want to play stupid games, you can win stupid prizes. I'll see you in court. But
Well, that was a mouthful. He's quite the victim, isn't he? Good grief. If he says cum dumpster one more time, he said, actually wish we could work out Walmart. I don't Amazon, and I try very hard not to Walmart. Yeah, he said a lot. He's quite the victim. So not only was he victimized by Cassie, he's also being victimized by an ex-girlfriend who just can't let him go. I'm imagining it must be because he's so charming and loving. You said he wasn't saying that when he was getting compensated for emptying trash in her. This is the thing. Okay, bruh. Sue Puffy. That's all I can say. Like, Sue Puffy. We cannot sit up here and pretend like Cassie wasn't a victim being forced to do all those things. You know what I'm saying? You went flying your happy ass across to wherever. And another thing he said, she lied about her identity. How did you not know who she was? And how did you not know her and Puff were not married? Because we knew that Puffy was over here grooming this little girl from when the first time we seen her ass couldn't sing. And she went on whatever show she went on. And she was like, I do what I do, and then I'm feeling for you. And we was like, oh no, she can't sing. What is Puffy doing with this child? And so years later, we find out what it was. This lady is a victim. Stand in line with the people who trying to get Puffy's money. And I feel like that's what it is. And he's saying all these terrible things, like the way he communicates. You know, do you like any women? Are you a victim of the itty bitty penny that the people said Puffy got little teeny puffy, and that's why he was out here doing the things he was doing? Is he admitting publicly that he was so naive, vulnerable, and gullible that they were able to victimize him? Not just them, child, his ex-girlfriend too. So the ex-girlfriend sent text messages. Here, I'll read it. The former male escort took to video with a lengthy, fired-up rant aimed squarely at Cassie and his ex-girlfriend, Francina Evans. What is Francina? I'm just curious. It don't matter. Now I'm sounding like these people over there that ruined Taye Diggs' marriage. Anyway, who allegedly has been helping the singer fight his lawsuit. For those catching up, Howard filed a suit against Cassandra Cassie Ventura and Sean Diddy Combs, alleging the two subjected him to SA during alleged freak-offs, and says caused serious mental harm. When was the SA happening? Wasn't he a paid employee? TMI, Rhonda. It's not my business. It's his business. I didn't have anything to do with this. To make the situation even messier, his ex reportedly handed over information to Cassie's legal team, intel that was used in their motion to have the case tossed. During his rant, Howard also mentioned model Edmund Laurent, who filed his own suit against the former couple, accusing them of drugging and SA him. Cassie's legal team is working to have that case dismissed as well. A final ruling has yet to come, has yet to be issued on either case. Somebody said the statute of limitations has run out on this anyway. I mean, I hope this goes away. I feel like Cassie has done. She got her money. She done fled the country. This man is mad because Puff's money is tied up and he may never see it. He has an ex-girlfriend that's obsessed with him. This was not her obsession. She sent text messages over there. And I've seen it where at some point he just told Cassie, like, I'm sorry that happened to you. Like, he wasn't coming with this same energy that he's coming with now. He was acknowledging that Cassie was also a victim. But now that she got that coin, and she said that he didn't have nothing to say. Before she got the money, he was like, oh my God, I'm sorry you went through this. And then after she got the money, here he come with all these nasty names that he's calling her. I think he hates all women. Young man, what you really got going on? Keep it on the down low. That's what the Isley brothers said. Amanda said, y'all. Okay. Amanda is accusing y'all. Amanda Seales reveals she nearly took her own life after critics made her believe she wasn't likable. You almost got me. I don't know who she's talking to. And I'm like, is she posting this because she was defending Cheyenne Bryan and the people told her to sit her ass down? Now here she come with some more mess. Now she's blaming us for her trauma.
Almost made me take my own life because you almost tricked me into thinking that I wasn't a likable broad and that I didn't deserve to live. You almost got me. Almost got me. It wasn't gonna happen again. It wasn't gonna happen again. In 2020, I really, really, really thought I don't belong here. I mean, I'm not from here. And I really thought, okay, well, you know, it's time to go. Anybody here who's ever had suicidal ideations knows that it's an out-of-body kind of experience, because there's like, it's like the angel and the shoulder on your the angel and the devil on your shoulder arguing. Right? Because part of you is like, nah, like you good. And the other part of you is like, it's not about you being good. This shit ain't good. This shit ain't good. This shit ain't good. You know? And sometimes it's like, yeah, it's time to go. I had again listened to my intuition when it said, you need to get a psychiatrist because you need to get on meds. And I could have ignored that and played into the social nonsense that tells you that that's not going to be something that you need to do because, you know, of Like I remember I told a homegirl that I had to get on meds, and she was like, "Oh, you should have told me. I would have prayed for you so that you didn't have to." We're not homegirls anymore because that's the dumbest shit out. However, I know that I'm in Babylon. I know where I'm at. I'm in chaos. My soul is not meant to stay here forever, but while it is here in this space, in this particular part of this planet, it needs some help. And so I be on my Lexapro. Y'all almost made me take my own life.
Do she got a prescription or did she get it from somebody? Listen, I feel like this lady definitely is suffering from some type of psychosis. Amanda is. It's kind of evident. Yeah, she's having psychosis. I feel a couple of ways about this. It's giving Britney level scary. Love me some Britney. She ain't been over there doing her thing lately after she got arrested. Poor thing. I hope she doesn't miss any therapy sessions. Forget to take her meds. She said Lexapro. What do Lexapro do? I don't know about Lexapro. I don't have any medications over here besides vitamin D. And I'm talking about the kind in the bottle. And I need to get me some fish oil. You know what I'm saying? So I'm careful with what type of vitamins I'm entering in. I don't know what Lexapro does. And I don't know if she got a prescription. Who prescribed her? Dr. Cheyenne? Is that her therapist, her psychologist? I don't know. It treats depression and anxiety. Well, she seems like somebody that's very depressed. Like I had to unfollow Amanda because I was tired of her coming over here screaming at me about things that she wasn't putting any effort, you know what I'm saying, to do anything about. Like, she's a very inactive activist besides being over here, ranting and raving. I feel, like I said, two ways about this. I think that Amanda is definitely suffering from something. I think that, when you go hard on somebody, because once the Cheyenne train is still on, the Cheyenne train is still rolling. I still see Cheyenne, talking somewhere on a red carpet or wherever she at. I still see people breaking down every interview that she's done. So the Cheyenne train is still rolling. And Amanda rolled herself right underneath that train and, caught some strays based on her support of Dr. Cheyenne. And the internet came from her, for her. But I feel like the internet often does. I feel like Amanda comes to the internet and rants and raves and calls us stupid and y'all this and y'all that and make us the reason why, she's dealing with what she's dealing with. And then they come for her. And I feel like it has to be a lot. It has to be a lot. I can't imagine like every day waking up to enormous amounts of hate. Amanda is thinking with her emotions, which is leading to delusional thoughts, just my opinion. I don't know if she's, Amanda don't like to go to the doctor. So if she's suffering from depression and anxiety, she might be self-prescribed. I don't know. She seems isolated. Where are her friends? She's ran them all off. She comes to the internet like she's in a relationship with the audience who's in her real world. She has a lot of support over there, but I feel like she also has a lot of hate too. Like I said, I had to get off because I followed Amanda because she's very smart, but then she just, start doing the most. And I was like, this lady comes over here with a lot of angsty anger and no solutions or uplifting. The industry boycott really hit her hard. Is it a boycott or does Amanda go around? Because like I just said, I had to unfollow her. Or does she go around creating these relationships? Creating this distance where people don't want to be around her. Is she worthy? Should she be here? She absolutely should be here. But I feel like she's absolutely hard to be around. You think she might need to smoke a joint? I think it's going to take more than a joint to fix her. A joint is, weed is a depressant anyway. So if she's suffering from depression, that ain't a good prescription, Dr. Ja Tony. See, High Vibe said the same thing. That's not going to fix it. Everybody is not equipped for tree thoughts. Now, me, myself, personally, I don't have no problems with tree thoughts, but I'm not a depressed, anxious person either. I don't know. I hope this lady gets the help she needs, but she does. She sits in that house screaming at her phone. I don't know, I know once she had a man and then she didn't have a man, but as far as I'm concerned, that ain't nothing but a damn distraction and possibly a bigger problem. So I don't know, that's what she needs. Not high and delusional. Oh, wow. I love y'all. Yeah, I don't know. This is what I was going to say when I say I feel two ways about it. I really, think it's unfair for people. And, maybe this is just me being in my spoiled, selfish bubble. You know what I'm saying? But it's so unfair to me that people come out and, throw the idea of unaliving themselves out there and get people all concerned and worried and in a frenzy. You know what I'm saying? I know she might not have any friends, but she got her mama. You know what I'm saying? Does her mother see this to get her family members all worked up and concerned, as they should be if that's what she's feeling? But Amanda, be for real. Like, if this is just another thing because you're mad because the people, didn't agree with your take on Dr. Cheyenne, I don't know if that's what this is, but I think it's very odd that she's coming out now talking about something that was in 2014, I think she said, or however long ago it was. You know what I'm saying? That made her feel this way. And if you have that level of depression, then you definitely need to be medicated, or something. Think it's somebody. She says psychiatrist. I don't know who she talking to, child. But yeah, I just think it's so unfair to, like I said, put that kind of thing out there if it's not something that's, a serious situation and you just in your feelings because the internet was coming for you. You wish you could tell her that life without Black Jesus ain't spit. Well, you can tell her. Run over to her run over to her page and say that in her comments and watch her cuss your ass out, because that's that's how she do. She's not interested in any type of outside commentary unless it's agreeing with whatever it is she has to say. Well, Black Tony, do y'all listen to Ricky Smiley and Black Tony Don't Never Go to Work? John Tony, go ahead and pray to Black Jesus and hopefully it'll work. Surprised she never joined Nature Boy. That Nature Boy keeps coming up, doesn't he? I don't know. Lotus Egyptian Flower, she can't listen to anybody. There's only one leader over there in carbonation, and that's Nature Boy. You think Nature Boy and Amanda could be in the same situation? You be hearing Black Tony on Ricky Smiley. Black Tony ain't been to work in 10 years, child. He been calling in to offer work for 10 years. Ja Tony used to be a part of the tree community years ago. Oh, you said you used to be a part of the tree community years ago. Child, I'm still there. Don't judge me. That's why she's in it now. Anyway, y'all, put one up in the air for Amanda. I'm not laughing at her situation. I think she definitely needs some prayer, but child, stay off the damn internet. Because you're just opening up the door for people to come for you. And we're going to end here today. Can y'all please stop doing stupid shit? That's how I'm going to start this story. So I don't know what possessed this man to take me in this daggone store, baby store, and put himself in this car.
You good?
You all right? Let me see if I can pop it.
I got stuck in there. In here.
Yeah, no.
Take the car.
How'd you get in there?
Yeah, I was going to, but I didn't want to hurt him. I was trying.
Careful. All right.
Yeah, from the back.
Get up. Careful.
You good?
You all right?
Those people were very nice. Clearly, that's not a Chinese store. My bad. Just kidding. Not really. Listen, they should have escorted his ass up to the register for he could pay for that truck and sit his ass outside and he could figure out how to get out of it on his own. Have you ever seen anything so ridiculous? You say seriously concerned for a minute. It is concerning. It is concerning. It's like watching her crash out in real time on the internet. And yeah, I think her family needs to go check on her. Yeah, this fool is get a screwdriver. Do it have a screwdriver? I don't know. I would let him figure out on his own. I would have been like, sir, how were you going to pay for that? We're going to put it on your card, or what are we going to do? Because, I mean, I can't give it to you. How did he crawl himself up in there? Why would he do that? I don't know, y'all. Anyway, I guess my note for today is when y'all go up in the toy store, stay your big ass from off the toys. You wrong. Taco Tuesday, y'all. Can you what were y'all saying? Can people get a charge for wasting other people's time? Long as it ain't me. Long as I'm not the person that's wasting your time. I don't want to be charged for anything. Is he a person with developmental disabilities? I mean, I don't know. Where's his chaperone? I don't know. I didn't think of that. Is he a person? Well, if he is, then his chaperone needs to take her ass or his ass to the cash register. You go on her channel and tell her you've been kicked off channels before it's worth a try. I mean, give us an update, y'all, Tony. Let us know how you were received by Amanda Seales. I'm gonna get on out of here. I'm not gonna get in a little toy car. I'm gonna go ahead and get in a regular size car and go get the ingredients for this Taco Tuesday. Y'all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. And yeah, like the video, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend, and I'll see y'all tomorrow around 10:15-ish. Bye, y'all.